Hello, I'm Kevin O'Hare with the Kentucky Department of Education's Office of Assessment and Accountability. I'm excited to kick off the first of two parts specific to the Overview Attainment Task training. I want to share that before you start the training, you will need to download the administration guide for today's training. A link can be found here on the opening slide. It is also found on the Kentucky Alternate Assessment Resources page. Many quiz questions will come from the administration guide, so it is critical to have access to it. Part 1 of today's training will focus on an overview of the assessment, along with key dates and requirements to prepare you for a successful administration. I also wanted to share that there are live links in this training. However, in order to access the links from this training, you must view this PowerPoint in slideshow view. So if the notes are displayed or you see slides going up and down the left side of your screen, you are not viewing in slideshow view. The first thing I want to discuss today are the changes that will take effect for the 2021-2022 school year. The first change is that I have had the honor to work alongside some of the most incredible students, teachers, administrators, contractors, and KDE staff for the past 14 years. The Kentucky Alternate Assessment has been and will always be near and dear to my heart. It has been such a pleasure to get to know and work with so many of you. With that being said, I did want to officially share that I will no longer be working with the Kentucky Alternate Assessment in the same capacity that I have in the past. I recently accepted a position within the Office of Assessment and Accountability that will allow me to work across multiple programs within the entire office. Thank you all so much for always being such wonderful advocates for our students. Keep up the amazing work that you do each and every day. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jason Howard. Jason is no stranger to the Office of Assessment and Accountability, as he has served as the accommodations specialist for the past 3 years. Jason will be the new lead for all things linked to the assessment and accountability in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment. I know that Jason will be such an asset to this work moving ahead. Again, thank you, everyone, and I will now turn things over to Jason.
All right, thank you, Kevin, for that nice farewell and that welcome for myself. I appreciate everything you've done, as does everyone that is watching this training. With that, we will move forward with the changes for 2021-2022. We had a very eventful summer, and so the first change that we decided to make over the summer was that the alternate assessment name would change from the alternate KPREP to the alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment, otherwise dubbed as AKSA. That's to better align with the general assessment, which had its name changed to the Kentucky Summative Assessment. This year, we'll be returning to the landscaping format of the Attainment Task as well. This will allow students to sit across from the table from the test administrator and see the student response options page. Additionally, the response options will go across the page, left to right, on one single row. As with previous administrations prior to last year, we plan to return to the two testing windows, one in the fall and the other in the spring. And the last area for change this school year is that there will be a new Transition Attainment Record, or TAR, for ELA and mathematics administered for grade 11 students, based on the newly enacted standards. Students who still have not met the benchmark in grades 12 or 14 who plan to take the TAR to try and meet benchmarks will still receive the old TAR based on the old KAS standards. Another important highlight to note is the continued administration of the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey to alternate assessment students. This survey is a required part of the accountability that must be administered to all students. This includes students participating in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment. There are surveys represented for the students at grades 3 through 5, and then grades 6 through high school, designed specifically for students who will be assessed. This means if a student is not in an assessment year, they will not be responsible for completing the survey. The survey for alternate assessment students consists of 10 questions with 4 answer options. The 4 answer options are the same as what is provided to the students completing the survey for the general assessment. One very important point to note is that in high school, only students in grades 10 and 11 will complete the survey. We are aligning the requirements 100% with the general assessment, so students in grades 9, 12, or 14 in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment will not complete the survey. The Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey will be completed during the second testing window during the spring administration. Now that we know what is different and the important changes for the 2021-2022 school year, let's turn our focus back to the test and what is required before you administer. First and foremost, before you administer any Kentucky State assessment, you must receive the Administration Code training and the Inclusion of Special Populations training. That training is currently in the process of being updated by OAA, and this is to reflect changes in the governing regulation which goes into effect in late fall. If these trainings are not completed, then no test administration should occur. And last but not least, if you are completing this training, you will more than likely also be administering the alternate Kentucky summative assessment. So this training is also a requirement to administer the attainment task. The Kentucky alternate assessment is made up of two assessment types: the Kentucky Summative Assessment Attainment Task, or the ATs, and the Transition Attainment Record, or the TAR, are their acronyms. Attainment tasks are administered this year to students in grades 3 through 11 in reading, mathematics, writing, and the writing includes on-demand writing and editing mechanics, science, and social studies, depending on which content is assessed at that specific grade range. We will actually look at those required in areas in slides 10, 11, and 12. Attainment tasks are actually picture-based, multiple choice assessments, fully scripted and read by the test administrator. There are two test windows for the alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment Attainment Task Administration. Window 1 is November 15th through December 22nd, 2021, and window 2 is April 18th through May 27th, 2022. When administering the attainment task, test administrators will read the script word for word, present the student with the question and the option of 3 answer choices. Pictures are optional unless indicated in the script. Once your student responds, the answer is then recorded on the paper copy of the answer sheet provided with the actual material shipment. After the administration is over, the answers are then recorded electronically in the Student Registration Database, or the SRD, after you've been activated by your DAC, DOS, or District Alternate Assessment Administrator. Part 2 of this training will focus solely on attainment tasks and the components related to those administrations. The Transition Attainment Record, or the TAR, is only administered at the high school level. It aligns with the ACT requirement at grade 11. For any students not meeting benchmark and hoping to use the TAR score for the academic portion of the transition readiness, the TAR may also be administered at grades 12 and 14 as long as graduation code has not been assigned at grade 14. A training specific to the TAR will be made available on September 27th, 2021 of this year. The participation guidelines for the Kentucky Alternate Assessment went through some major revisions starting in the fall of 2017. Those revisions were completed and new guidelines were released on February 15th of 2018. For any questions about participation in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment, I encourage you to contact our friends in the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. Tanya Sharp in that division of IDA Monitoring and Results is the lead. She does an amazing job with placement decisions and the participation process in its entirety. So here on slide 9, this focuses on the content areas that will be assessed at the elementary level. One thing to note is that many schools have a different grade configuration. So your school may not be a 3 through 5 grade span. It may be a 3 through 6 or a 3 through 4. The 3 through 5 grade span is used at the state level, and that is how district accountability is represented. Slide 10 reflects the required content areas being assessed at middle school. And finally, slide 11 looks at the high school content areas to be assessed. If you will note in red, grade 9 and grade 12 no longer have attainment tasks administered at those grades. Nothing is assessed at grade 9, and only the TAR is available for those who choose to take it at grade 12. A student completing the Kentucky Alternate Summative Assessment will be tested based on the grade listed for him, her, in Infinite Campus. It is critical that the grade placement be correct in IC in September or no later than October this year before rosters for the fall window 1 assessments are pulled. Once a student participating in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment has completed the grade 12 and they plan to remain in high school until age 21, they may then be enrolled in IC as a grade 14 student. If you are not familiar with the Alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment webpage, I encourage you to venture out on the KD website. Locate the Assessment Accountability site on the homepage. Select the assessments in the drop-down box, and then double-click on the Alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment Program link. So what happens now? Well, if you haven't already printed a copy of the administration guide provided along with this training, please do so now. If you have students in grades 11, 12, or 14 who need to take the TAR, that training will be released on September 27th. Anyone planning to administer the alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment this fall or in the spring must complete this training along with Part 2, which will follow. You must then complete the qualifying quiz found in the online training system, complete the administration code and inclusion of special population training, all before November 15th, 2021. This just has to be completed one time per year. The quiz is 20 questions, 3 of which are mandatory and must be answered correctly to receive a passing score. This training, along with the qualifying quiz, serves as a review each year before you administer the alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment. This concludes Part 1 of this training. Stay tuned for Part 2, where we will specifically talk about the Attainment Task Administration.